many of you remember the name Vance Boelter? Does that ring a bell at all? Well, it's a name that Tampon Timmy Walz definitely doesn't want anybody mentioning. And Trump just dropped a bombshell video insinuating that Tampon Tim Walz, if you don't know who Vance Boelter is, you're going to find out right now. Tampon Tim Walz, the most emasculated, feckless, spineless, ballsless, gutless, heartless, unqualified vermin to ever get close to public office. Within 100 yards of public office, Trump dropped this amazing video that I'm going to share with you right now, insinuating that Walz had something to do with this individual, Boelter, who assassinated Representative Melissa Hortman, God rest her soul, who was the only individual, the only Democrat who voted against funding welfare for these illegal criminal migrant Somalis and more. So Tampon Timmy's in a sweat. I'm going to play for you this video in just a second, and I'm going to share the reactions. Nick Shirley even jumps in, the great independent media guru. Nick Shirley, who exposed the daycare Leering Center, which is all fraud by this migrant community, defrauding American taxpayers, as well as I've got a beautiful bonus. Stick around. You're not going to want to miss this. You won't be disappointed. Secretary of State Marco Rubio proving his mettle. This guy literally, Vance may have a little run for his money. Marco Rubio goes on woke media and completely just demolishes the narrative about what happened with Maduro and the capture in the middle of the night that Trump and this America First team initiated. Wait till you hear what he says. You don't want to miss that. But first, check out the video that Trump dropped that has Tampon Tim sweating bullets. Watch.
You guys remember Melissa Hortman, the Minnesota state rep that had her life taken from her by Tim Walz's aide after voting to take away health care from illegal immigrants?
She was unalived in her home by Vance Boelter, who was later caught after a manhunt. He then sent a letter to the FBI and Kash Patel saying that it was Tim Walz who forced him to do it. Both Vance Boelter and his wife worked for Tim Walz for years in different states. Was Melissa Hortman unalived because she voted against a multi-billion-dollar money laundering fraud? The fraud that she voted against that heavily implicated illegal aliens, specifically Somalians, who have been racketing this kind of child care, health care rackets and cooperating with our corrupt government. And today it's breaking news that the money laundering scam in Minnesota of billions of dollars for healthcare offices, child daycares, Medicaid, and various forms of care agencies. These money laundering frauds have been exposed, and it all comes back to Tim Walz.
I did what leaders do. I stepped up and I got the job done for the people of Minnesota.
Very shortly after this, she was unalived in her home by Vance Boelter. Vance Boelter and his wife worked for Tim Walz for years in different states.
So this post has the liberals just going absolutely beep crazy, as usually facts tend to have that effect on liberals and radical leftists who hate America. And I think all these Democrats and hypocrites hate America because they essentially imported voters at the sacrifice of American citizens so they can retain power. That's not a conspiracy theory. You say that 5 years ago, even maybe 2 years ago, you might be somebody who needs to spend time in a rubber room and you would be treated as such. That's an actual fact now. That's literally, the plan is out there. It's been wide open, discovered, exposed, etc., etc. What's really interesting is that story, because Vance Boelter did put in his quote unquote manifesto or whatever, saying that Tim Walz forced me to do it. Forced me to do it. Where did that story go? Isn't it interesting how the woke media didn't jump on that? Can you imagine? Can you just, think about this, America. Please, for the love of God, use your critical thinking, as I know you do, especially if you're watching this show. You have the capacity. Could you imagine if somebody went and God forbid assassinated somebody like Ghetto Crockett or mentally Ilhan Omar, et cetera, et cetera. And in the manifesto, it said, President Trump forced me to do it. What do you think would happen if that occurred? That would be blasted. I mean, you would never hear the end of it. CNN would do a 10-part documentary on it. It'd be on all the woke media stations, the corporate press, New York Times. They would all go absolutely deluge, flood the market with this information left and right, and they would never stop and pounce ceaselessly. You know it, and I know it. So it is really strange how that story just got buried and vanished. And Tampon Tim didn't take it too lightly. He didn't like the idea of Trump posting that. Watch this. So Tampon Tim took to X and posted this saying, dangerous, depraved behavior from the sitting president of the United States. In covering for an actual serial killer, he's going to get more innocent people killed. America is better than this. So as always, when he was confronted by the Leering Center and all these daycare, Medicare fraud, billions and billions of dollars of fraud from these Somali migrants right under his nose, probably facilitated by him, he gets upset and everything's Trump's fault. Everything's Trump's fault. I mean, if a deer gets hit in the woods or something, it's Trump's fault, for crying out loud. Nick Shirley responded to this saying, why was she killed after speaking out against illegal migrants? Was she a threat to you and your fraudster scheme? RIP to Melissa Hortman. Where Tampon Tim takes the CNN approach and says, my opponents have been celebrating this far-right YouTuber as a groundbreaking journalist. Here he reveals who he really is, a delusional conspiracy theorist. So the reason I say the CNN route is anytime you talk about a YouTuber or somebody on X, an independent media, which is the only kind of media, which is the right kind of media, the only real experts, because it's media by the people, of the people, for the people, and it gets fact-checked immediately. You can't just post whatever you think is going to fit your narrative or architect your own kind of sort of propaganda without being pummeled by fact checkers and community notes. That doesn't happen on MSNBC. That doesn't happen on CNN, ABC, CBS, etc. Right? So they hate this new media. Anytime you use YouTuber as a pejorative, you've lost the plot, man. You're way out of touch because this new media is the only real media. If it wasn't for Elon Musk purchasing Twitter back in 2022 or 3, I can't remember when he did it, and turning it into one of the last bastions of free speech on the entire internet, we would never find out about these things. So that's why I want you to follow me on X. I'm Professor Nez, at Professor Nez. I'm a verified. Follow me on X. I post a lot there as well as here. So Nick Shirley then responded to Tim Walz ridiculous statement saying, ha ha ha, Tim, how scared are you? Oh, and tell Ilhan Omar we are also worried about her. She seems to have gone missing. Please give her a call and let us know she's right. She's all right. Actually, right. We haven't heard from mentally Ilhan Omar since this unbelievable breakthrough story with all these daycare centers being complete fronts for money laundering, funding, God knows what, laundering billions and billions of dollars. Where is Ilhan? Can somebody tell me where Ilhan is? Ilhan, yoo-hoo, knock, knock, knock. Hello, anybody home? Where are you, Ilhan? How come you're not coming out and saying anything about this? Aren't you against fraud? Aren't you a representative in Congress for Minnesota? Don't you care about Minnesota taxpayers being defrauded? Don't you care about America? No, of course she doesn't. That's why you haven't heard from her. You notice how none of these libs, they'll call, use YouTuber as a pejorative for people like Nick Shirley, people like Benny Johnson and people like, Don Jr., et cetera, but they won't ever use that same pejorative when it comes to people like Brian Tyler Cohen, who is literally a DNC shill, and Pac-Man and this Hassan guy who is just such an abomination, is making millions and millions of dollars on his ridiculous spreading disinformation on his streams and hating on America. Like literally every post is hating on America, supporting Mamdani, supporting communism, trashing capitalism, everything that makes us great as a country, rugged individualism, et cetera, et cetera. It's interesting how Tampon Tim and the rest of the Dems, AOC, Ilhan, Crockett, all of them, They praise them, but when it comes to facts, actual real, commentators and giving real analysis, this is the kind of reaction you get. But to just button this up really quickly, the question still remains, why was it buried? Where did this story go? Why have we not heard any follow-up on this? What happened with the investigation? Was there anything that was discovered after that manifesto, which implicated Tampon Timmy? Anything come of that? We haven't heard anything. That story, poof, gone, dust into the wind. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on this. Next, oh my goodness, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, School and Woke Media. You want to see some badass American badassery clips? Here you go. Check this out. In this first clip, I'm going to share with you, Rubio says the experts are clowns when it comes to Venezuela. Venezuela looks nothing like Libya, Iraq, Afghanistan, because everybody, they protected illegal aliens. They protected criminals. They protected thugs. They protected fishermen, narco terrorists, calling them fishing boats. Now they're protecting one of the worst dictators of all time. And you know what? Actually, you know what? Before that, I want to share this from our great queen of misery, the ultimate DEI hire, Kamala Harris. When President Trump captured Maduro, which was a powerful move securing the Western Hemisphere, this was Kamala's reaction before I shared Marco Rubio. Watch this. So Kamala posted this: Trump's actions in Venezuela do not make America safer, stronger, or more affordable. That Maduro is a brutal, illegitimate dictator does not change the fact that this action was both unlawful and unwise. We've seen this movie before: wars for regime change or oil that are sold as strength but turn into chaos, and American families pay the price. Blah, 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 blah. But then, Will Chamberlain on X posted this: the Biden and Harris administration made available a $25 million reward for information that would have led to the arrest of Nicolas Maduro. Now you're saying capturing him was unlawful? Did you just entirely forget your administration's policy? This was back in 2020. Anybody shocked? Is anybody surprised? She's the ultimate DEI hire by Biden's own admission. Is anybody shocked? Is anybody surprised? I sure ain't. Let's get to this amazing clip of our amazing Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, talking about the experts are clowns. Check this out.
Number one, most of the experts that people have on television, I watch these experts and it's clown hour. Okay, these are people that have focused their entire career on the Middle East or some other part of the world because that's where all the action was. Very few of them know anything about Venezuela or the Western Hemisphere. Venezuela looks nothing like Libya. It looks nothing like Iraq. It looks nothing like Afghanistan. It looks nothing like the Middle East other than the Iranian agents that are running through there plotting against America. Okay, these are Western countries with long traditions among their at a people-to-people and cultural level and ties to the United States. So there's nothing like that. So I think people need to stop ascribing the apples and oranges here, the apples of the Middle East to the oranges of the Western Hemisphere.
But do you...
Number two, this is about the national interest of the United States. And what I'm confident of is we are in a safer and better place because we're taking it seriously. The alternative would have been to leave Maduro there as an indicted drug trafficker, illegitimate president, running the country, open invitation for all of our adversaries to do whatever they want against the United States from Venezuela. That was not going to continue. The alternative would have been to allow a drug trafficker to continue to use national territory and elements of nation-state power to further drug trafficking organizations. Read the indictment. This guy used the levers of their security apparatus not to arrest drug traffickers, but to cooperate and facilitate the trafficking of drugs for the purpose of getting them into the United States. And that's going to stop.
Woo! Wait, I don't know about you guys, but how many of you remember when Marco Rubio was picked by the GOP to respond to, I think it was either Obama or what have you, and he had that water bottle kind of meme. It was forever etched in internet history and comedy history, really, at that, because he was like, the water bottle incident. You know what I'm talking about. This guy, I thought he was a clown back then. And I thought he was a clown during some of the primaries back in 2015, 2016 when Trump was running. But this guy in the last 10 years, call me crazy, this guy in the last 10 years has turned into somebody who is eons, evolved and progressive and more mature, more strong as a leader. He has gone from a baby chick to a full-blown alpha male rooster. It's amazing. what this guy has achieved. And here's another clip right here where Rubio says American adversaries are being banished from the Western Hemisphere. This is not happening under President Trump. He is serious. Listen to this.
What needs to happen for any of this to change, for our relations with Venezuela to change and our whole approach to it to change, the things we have talked about are the ones I've highlighted already. You can't flood this country with gang members. You can't flood this country with drugs that are coming out of Colombia through Venezuela with the cooperation of elements of your security forces. You can't turn Venezuela into the operating hub for Iran, for Russia, for Hezbollah, for China, for the Cuban intelligence agents that control that country. That cannot continue. Those things cannot continue to be in place. You cannot continue to have the largest oil reserves, in the world under the control of adversaries of the United States, not benefiting the people of Venezuela and stolen by a handful of oligarchs around the world, including inside of Venezuela, but not benefiting the people of that country. We've seen how our adversaries all over the world are exploiting and extracting resources from Africa, from every other country. They're not going to do it in the Western Hemisphere. Yeah. They are not. That is not going to happen under President Trump. Read our national security strategy. He is serious about it, and he's going to do something about it, and we're doing something about it.
Damn Skippy. President Trump means business. Here's a final clip right here where Marco Rubio just summarizes what the Western Hemisphere means to the United States and how foreign adversaries need to butt the hell out. This is amazing. Watch.
It's need to take over the Venezuelan oil industry.
Well, we don't need to. First of all, let me go back up. We don't need Venezuela's oil. We have plenty of oil in the United States. What we're not going to allow is for the oil industry in Venezuela to be controlled by adversaries of the United States. You have to understand, why does China need their oil? Why does Russia need their oil? Why does Iran need their oil? They're not even in this continent. This is the Western Hemisphere. This is where we live. And we're not going to allow the Western Hemisphere to be a base of operation for adversaries, competitors, and rivals of the United States.
Have specific oil companies?
We also want to see that oil and the proceeds from it. Hold on. We want to see the oil proceeds of that country benefit the people of Venezuela. Why have 8 million people left Venezuela? 8 million, the single largest mass migration probably in modern history, left Venezuela since 2014 because all the wealth of that country was stolen to the benefit of Maduro and his cronies in the regime, but not to the benefit of people of Venezuela. You know how destabilizing 8 million migrants is? The number one fear that Brazil has, that Colombia has, that all these countries in the region have about what's happening in Venezuela and our involvement is they're afraid of another mass migration event. That's what they fear. This is deeply destabilizing stuff. It's not going to continue to happen. They are not going to come from outside of our hemisphere, destabilize our region in our own backyard, and us have to pay the price for it. Not under President Trump.
It's so sad that we have a media apparatus that is so anti this America First administration run by President Trump and this amazing team, which was duly elected by the people. If this was a Democrat doing this, it'd be wall-to-wall coverage of praise. They'd be going out of their way to prove that this was the right thing to do. All you have to do is listen to the Venezuelan people who are crying tears of joy. Libertad, si se puede. They're so excited, crying tears of joy all over the country, all over the United States, because Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, is absolutely right. They fled the most massive migration out of the country because of this dictator, this criminal, this thug, this narco-terrorist, Nicolas Maduro, who was just meeting with Chinese delegates like literally hours before Trump. And this amazing team, Pete Hegseth, Raisin Kane, etc., initiated this, Rubio included. Rubio was in that room, a big part of this probably, initiated this capture of this criminal, this war criminal, this international terrorist, Nicolas Maduro. It's just really sad. Sometimes when I see Trump, and I know other people kind of comment on this, when I see Trump in press conferences and stuff, he's a little bit kind of terse, let's just say, quiet piggy. Just a small example with some of these reporters is because I feel for him, man. It's like, wait a minute, I'm doing all this for you. I'm doing all this for us, America. And this is what you want to talk about? This is what you keep bringing up? This is how you skew the narrative? It's just so sad and tragic. God bless Secretary of State Marco Rubio. God bless America. I love you, America. We always will support you. I love you, President Trump. Thank you for everything that you're doing. Thank you to the U.S. military, General Raisin Kane, Pete Hegseth, Secretary of Department of War. We love You. And if you do too, tap that thumbs up. It doesn't take you that long. Show them that you love America, because our mission here is to make common sense go viral. When you tap the thumbs up, share this video, leave a comment, watch them all to the end, it helps us get the message out, because then the algorithm pushes our videos out to more people. We got to get the truth out there. Help us out, because quite frankly, Melania and I watch Professor Nez every night. He's the best there is. Quite frankly, really, he's the only guy, right, who tells the truth about the fake news media. I love you, Professor Nez, and I love you, Mr. President. Don't forget to check out these videos coming up on the screen right here, just in case you missed them. Tap my face right here to subscribe and follow. And as always, may God bless you, and may God bless the USA and all who defend her. I'll see you soon.